They're probably counting down the days on a calendar. It's the final piece of the puzzle. It pulls everybody in. The New York Times, the PR firms. Brian Friedman must be having an absolute field day.
Oh, honey. Blake Lively thought she was untouchable until Candace Owens stormed in like a wrecking ball and exposed everything. The lawsuit Blake had the nerve to parade around? Yeah, fake. Like not just flimsy, fabricated from scratch.
This means that Blake Lively's lawsuit basically lost all their evidence.
And get this, Blake literally made up a whole company just so she could file subpoenas and flex fake power. Who does that? Oh, right, a Hollywood narcissist with too much time and a PR team with no soul.
Holly Caro has since wiped all her socials. Girlfriend, if you are watching and looking, it is too late. The sleuths are on it. They've pulled everything. There's Reddit feeds. You are donezo. Just come forward and say that you did bad crime.
This wasn't justice, this was delusion in designer heels.
Regarding this Blake, Ryan, Justin case, that things may have just transformed from civil to criminal.
While the world was just enjoying Easter eggs and pretending to like their cousins, Blake, she was out here setting off a full-blown legal explosion that shook the entertainment world to its core.
Because this is going to be wild, it's unbelievable.
On April 1st, and no, this was no prank, Candace Owens dropped receipts so raw the internet nearly combusted. Plantation Wedding Lively was exposed, humiliated, and totally stripped of that picture-perfect A-lister illusion.
By the way, I want to say this could have all been avoided if they had listened to me when I told them, drop the lawsuits. Just drop. When you know you are doing nothing good, get out of doing the nothing good as soon as possible, especially when the whole world is watching and you've got mommy sleuths on the case.
Let's start at the root of this mess. Blake's lawsuit against Justin Baldoni. Built on what, facts? Nope, it was built on ego and hot air. Candace didn't even ease in. He went off, calling it a straight up white collar crime in stilettos.
There were still some elements that didn't make sense, which is when Blake and Ryan began colluding with the New York Times, we didn't understand how exactly Stephanie Jones' PR was able to give these messages to the New York Times ahead of.
Blake didn't file a lawsuit, she wrote a fairy tale, like court fan fiction, filed under some phony company called Vanson Inc., which, surprise, surprise, is owned by her and Ryan Reynolds.
Which is also the reason why the Daily Mail started digging into things, because they were like, oh, we've seen the subpoena, who is that?
They put on this corporate costume like it was a mask at a masquerade ball, thinking nobody would notice. Girl, we noticed.
Somebody in the group, maybe it's Ryan Reynolds, I think it's Ryan Reynolds, says, whoa, 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 was that legal? We have the messages and we're gonna go to press and we're gonna fight this in the New York Times, but like, can we get in trouble? And they all scrambled on the back end and they said, holy crap, we need to pretend that there's a real subpoena.
Want to hear how messy this gets? The lawsuit didn't even name real people, just Jane Doe's vague anonymous ghosts. The language? Corporate gibberish that sounded like an AI had a panic attack and typed nonsense.
Just says the lawsuit lists 10 Jane Does. So they didn't list any defendants. It's just like anonymous 10 people that we're filing a lawsuit against. We are Van Zandt LLC.
But buckle up, it gets worse. This lawsuit was nothing more than a cover-up for something they'd already done. Stephanie Jones, Blake's personal PR pitbull, had already snatched an ex-employee's phone.
Toxic relationship with your employer. Doesn't matter what the reason is that someone wants to leave. They want to leave, let them go. Goodbye, okay? You can't have this sort of a relationship.
Yes, Jennifer Al, who just wanted to leave her job peacefully, had her phone literally taken on August 21st, 2024. Snatched like it was some mob movie. Stephanie brought in security and everything. Who does that?
She was under a lot of pressure and she thought, well, does this mean she's gonna steal more clients from me? I made Jennifer Abel. No one leaves me and takes one of my clients.
And here's the smoking gun. The subpoena they claimed gave them permission. It didn't exist until 41 days later. So they held on to that phone illegally for over a month.
Before she's about to leave, Steph Jones calls her in. She's got a lawyer. She's got the, chief level. I think it was the CEO there. She's got security and she's like, we need your phone, because we have a subpoena that we're complying.
Let's talk about this mystery company, Vanson Inc. It's based in Delaware, a shady LLC Central, and listed Blake and Ryan's own management office as its business address. Coincidence? Please.
Look at this. The plaintiff is Van Zandt Incorporated. This is an LLC that is owned by Blake Reynolds, that nobody would have known to look for. We're gonna get more into the details of that, right?
And what was this business doing? Nothing except receiving 2 random shipments of fabric and doors to their mansion. Interior design for a fake company. Blake really turned legal fraud into HGTV.
Never wanted the public to find it. Okay, they never want to publicly find this. This is, again, they're trying to work backwards to legitimize something that they likely stole. So I'm going to read you directly from this sham law.
And they didn't even use Blake's name. Nope, they hid behind an alias, Molly Caro. Who is that? Blake's own PR henchwoman, of course, from Vision PR. The plot's not thickening, it's curdling.
Pretend that she complied with it, but this was all being done backwards. She had already taken the phone, and that's why she never wanted to show anybody this subpoena, okay? That's why she was being weird, cagey. They wouldn't answer the lawsuit because they had hid it purposely.
And wait, Molly Caro is also tied to Taylor Swift's music videos. The ones Blake directed to prove she was more than just Serena from Gossip Girl. So now we have stolen phones, PR cover-ups, and music videos in the mix.
That fabric and doors was shipped to the name, because they probably don't want to put their name on it, Molly Caro. Okay, this is the only business action. If you go through Van Zandt incorporated documents, it shows you that this was shipped to Molly Caro on behalf.
Oh, and Vanson Inc.? No clients, zero, nada. The only thing it did was ship wood flooring and abuse the court system for subpoenas.
So they actually found a lawyer to give them advice and to tell them how to file a fake lawsuit so that they could use that fake lawsuit to pretend that they legally took Jennifer Abel's phone.
Once Blake had that phone, what did she do? Return it? Respect privacy? Please. She handed off private text to the press, all while claiming with a straight face that a subpoena had been served. It hadn't. She lied.
Jennifer Abel's crying. She's like, I've had this phone number since high school. What do you mean? It has all my pictures, my Facebook, everything. And she's like, nah. Hand over your phone right now. It's going down like this, okay? She hands over her phone, and there you have it. Suddenly, these text messages that are in her Jennifer Abel's personal phone end up in the New York.
So how did they fix that? They filed the lawsuit after the phone grab to cover their tracks. Candace Owens didn't sugarcoat it. She called it obstruction of justice. And baby, that's a 10-year prison kind of crime.
Reddit feed, you are donezo. Just come forward and say that you did bad crime.
Oh, and when the subpoena finally did show up, it wasn't signed. It wasn't assigned to a court. Justin Baldoni's name wasn't even on it. It was the whisper of a document dressed in legal cosplay. And guess what? Brian Friedman, Justin Baldoni's legal nightmare in a suit, read that disaster of a subpoena and called the entire lawsuit what it was: a joke, a sham, a fictional tantrum disguised as legal paperwork. He said it was a flagrant abuse of process, and honestly, he's being polite. Blake Lively really thought she could spin a PR meltdown into a courtroom drama and walk away clean. But babe, the courtroom isn't Netflix. You don't get to write your own script and cast yourself as the misunderstood victim. And while this legal circus was unfolding, Ryan Reynolds, her husband and co-owner of this shady circus tent called Van Sin Inc., was out here sending dramatic texts like a man on the verge of a PR breakdown. On August 29th, 2024, just 8 days after the phone was snatched, Ryan started texting Leslie Sloan, trying to sound like he was managing a hostage crisis. No lawsuit existed at that point, but there he was, typing, "Don't speak to press, stay quiet, no comment," like he was starring in Deadpool, the legal edition. And let's not forget, this wasn't just panic, it was premeditated. Ryan's messages were alibi crafting in real time, according to Candace Owens. He was trying to create a digital paper trail for a crime they'd already committed. The man was narrating his own cover-up. Meanwhile, Blake's PR team already feeding stolen texts to New York Times reporter Megan Twohey before the lawsuit even existed. That's right, Blake's media campaign was running before the court case was filed. She wasn't just trying to win in court, she was trying to win the internet. And you know what? It almost worked. For a hot second, headlines painted Blake as the empowered woman taking on injustice. But then the metadata came out. The subpoenas fell apart, and the judge, he was not here for the games. Judge Lehman took one look at Blake's so-called evidence, which was obtained through a subpoena that violated every privacy law in the book, and went, nope. He quashed it, said it was invalid, called it a violation of privacy. Basically, he tossed Blake's lawsuit in the trash where it belonged. And without those texts, Blake has nothing. No proof, no evidence, just a suitcase full of legal jargon and a broken PR spell. Her case is now being called one of the worst examples of celebrity legal manipulation ever, and the legal community, oh, they're not just watching. They're coming. Blake's being threatened with Rule 11 sanctions, which means the court could officially declare her entire lawsuit a bad faith joke. Translation, she could get fined, embarrassed in court, and slapped with a legal reputation so toxic, not even a reboot of Gossip Girl could fix it. Brian Friedman's not playing either. He's pushing for summary judgment. That's legal speak for let's end this nonsense now. He told Deadline that Vanson Inc. had nothing to do with the case and that the entire lawsuit was a front to get subpoena power they weren't legally entitled to. And remember that fake company, Vanson Inc., the one with no clients, no operations, just fabric and a couple of doors? Yeah, Blake and Ryan used that empty shell to grab someone's private phone data without informing the person, without naming them in the paperwork, and without any legitimate legal oversight. That's not just shady, that's criminal. California and federal privacy laws do not play. You can't just seize an employee's phone and pretend it's business as usual. You can't weaponize the court like it's your personal diary. But Blake did. And now she might be facing real charges, like federal obstruction of justice charges. And let's talk about those 10 Jane Does mentioned in the lawsuit, the ones Blake accused of not acting in her best interests. That's not a legal argument. That's the kind of thing you say in a group chat after a friendship breakup. And yet Blake threw that into court filings like it was a script rewrite. And the biggest red flag of all, Stephanie Jones, the one who physically took Jennifer's phone, is now rumored to have hired a criminal defense lawyer. That's not PR cleanup. That's brace for prison energy. So how did we get here? Let's walk it back one last time. July 10, 2024, Jennifer Au resigns. August 21, Stephanie Jones snatches her phone. August 29, Ryan Reynolds sends shady messages. September 27, Blake files the fake lawsuit. October 1, the bogus subpoena is finally filed. 41 days too late, every step, every delay, every shady move screams premeditated fraud. If the court throws out the subpoena evidence, and it's on track to, then Blake's entire lawsuit could be nuked. She could even face civil liability for abusive process. And prosecutors, they're circling. If Blake and Ryan are found guilty of filing a fraudulent lawsuit, using it to bypass privacy laws and manipulate the system, they could face up to 10 years behind bars. Plus fines, plus restitution. This isn't some gossip blog rumor anymore. This is DOJ level danger. And don't think the media didn't notice. The Daily Mail called it a shady legal tactic. Multiple legal experts are calling this one of the boldest and dumbest PR stunts in modern celebrity history. Oh, and Blake's little fake company, she left Vanson Inc. off every single cease and desist letter. That's not forgetfulness. That's a cover-up. She didn't want anyone tracing her scam back to that empty Delaware shell. Then there's Leslie Sloan, Blake's longtime PR queen, the pearl-clutching mastermind behind Vision PR. She and Stephanie Jones from Jonesworth were working together to intimidate Jennifer on August 21st before a lawsuit even existed. That's not legal strategy. That's straight-up mob tactics. Leslie even told Jennifer she'd already seen the messages. How? They weren't legally obtained yet. And now, Candace Owens said it best. Stephanie Jones didn't just cross the line, she sprinted past it in red-bottom heels. This wasn't HR drama, this was a full-on abuse of power. And Blake, she backed the whole thing. Even Blake's own fans are starting to ask, why would she risk everything over a few texts if her harassment claims were legit? Wouldn't she have real evidence instead of this subpoena circus? Because here's the tea, it was never about justice. It was about control, about revenge, about saving face after the plantation wedding backlash, the failed PR campaigns, the awkward influencer brand deals. That Vox article from 2016 called it, they described her as a soulless, privileged blonde with zero depth. And now she's out here staging fake legal cases in between Fashion Week posts from Europe? She wasn't seeking justice. She was staging a smear campaign, dressed up as a courtroom drama. But the curtain's down, the fantasy's over, and the receipts, they're everywhere. As of now, Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, Stephanie Jones, and even their shady attorney, Samantha Katz, who magically appeared out of nowhere, are facing potential sanctions, federal investigations, and legal fallout that could destroy their careers. If Blake really thought this legal theater would end in applause, she was dead wrong. So what do you think? Is Blake done for good, or is she gonna pull one more desperate PR stunt to try and save what's left? Drop your thoughts in the comments and hit that subscribe button for more tea hotter than this legal mess. Hotter than this